Hi class! Before we get started on our lesson today, I wanted to share a video explaining more about our emotions and why we have them. While you watch this video, try to reflect on the things we've talked about in our previous lessons about empathy and understanding others' emotions.
Why do we have feelings? Imagine when we went home from school one day and there was a nice, warm, delicious pie waiting for you. It would make you happy, right? Now imagine you went home from a bad day at school, knowing there was to be a delicious hot pie waiting for you, only to find out there is no pie. How would you feel? Probably quite sad and disappointed, right? Happiness, contentment, love, bitterness, worry are some of the many feelings we have. To understand why we have feelings, we must first understand what are feelings. Feelings are mental associations and reactions to an emotion. They are colored by our personal experiences and beliefs. Wait a minute, aren't feelings and emotions the same? Well, they are many times used interchangeably, so one might think they are the same. But the truth is that they are different. Emotions are involuntary bodily responses, like when you go to school and come to know there is a surprise test. Your pulse increases and you feel uneasy in your stomach. On the other hand, feelings make you aware of your emotions. So feelings arise out of the narrative we give to the emotion. To understand this better, imagine you're sleeping peacefully at night and suddenly you hear a loud knock on your bedroom door. You will instantly experience fear and your heart will beat faster. You might break into sweat. While describing the incident to someone, you will describe it as, I felt terrified. It was really scary. To imagine there might be an imposter in the house. I felt a sense of panic, terrified, scared, panic-stricken are all feelings that are extensions of the basic emotion of fear. So, one might wonder, why do we have these feelings? Isn't life complicated enough with so many emotions? Well, feelings might sometimes seem like a burden when they grow intense, like the feeling of grief or distress when you lose or break your favorite toy, or when your beloved pet gets hurt. But feelings are important, as without them, we wouldn't have been able to build and accomplish our goals. Without care, wonder, expectation, and a sense of pride, we wouldn't have developed as a society. Even animals have emotions. Think about a deer caught in headlight. It does experience fear, but it stops there. There is no feeling of horror, as animals don't have the symbolism of language and the sense to rationalize to turn that emotion into a feeling. So, if we didn't have feelings, we would be no different from animals. It is the ability to reason about the past and future and to have feelings that give way to action that has allowed us to dominate the food chain. It has helped us shape the world for our future through inventions and discoveries and the will to survive. So, the next time you feel distressed or perplexed, know that the feeling is what makes you human, and it will eventually pass.
Let's talk a little bit about our last lesson. When you notice and understand how another person is feeling, you often do something to show your care and concern. What did Tiana do to show Brandon she cared when she noticed he didn't want to hold the worm for their science project? She held the worm and let him watch. What helped Tiana understand Brandon's feelings? Empathy. Having empathy helped Tiana notice and understand Brandon's feelings. Then she showed her care and concern for Brandon by holding the worm for their assignment. You've learned that focusing your attention and listening help you have empathy. Other skills for learning. like being assertive and using self-talk, can help you show your care and concern for others. Let's practice your skills with another brain builder activity called Mum's the Word. Here are the rules for Mum's the Word. I'm going to decide on a number that's forbidden. Ask you all to count around the classroom, replacing the forbidden number. I'm going to say the forbidden number is 7, with the first word of a word pair. A word pair is like sun, rain, apple, orange, north, south, cat, dog. So if I said count to 7, at the word 7, you would say a first word in that pair, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, cat. And if I were to get up to 17, you would replace the 7 part of 17 with cat. So it would be cat-teen. So just remember the forbidden number is 7. So let's all try it out. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, cat. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, cat-teen, 18, 19, 20. Does that make sense? So there's going to be another forbidden number, and that number is going to be 3. So you'll use the second word in that pair. So instead of cat, it would be dog. Instead of sun, it would be rain. Instead of north, it would be south. So if it was 1, 2, dog, 4, 5, 6, cat. Does that make sense? So let's all practice counting to 20 right now. 1, 2, dog, 4, 5, 6, cat, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, dog-teen, 14, 15, 16, cat-teen, 18, 19, 20. So we'll play a couple of rounds. So let's try counting to 10 really quickly now. I'm going to tap my hand 10 times. So count on beat, okay? 1, 2. Now we're going to go up to 10. And I'm going to do 2 taps for things like 13, 14, 15. Are we ready? Starting at 10. Every time you practice your skills for learning, your brain gets better at doing them. You become more confident. Today, your skills for learning will help you have empathy and show care and concern for others. So we're all going to look at this photo together. This is Ayako. Today, she is the teacher's helper. Her teacher prepared a basket of art supplies and asked Ayako to hand them out. Ayako tripped on her shoelaces and dropped the tray, spilling the markers all over the floor. How do you think Ayako is feeling? Be sure to look at her face. Maybe she's feeling embarrassed or sad or upset. How can you tell? Her mouth is turned down. Her head is hanging low. She spilled a bunch of things. Thumbs up if you've ever spilled something or felt sad or embarrassed. We all know what it feels like to do something by accident. In the same photo, this is Kareem. He notices how upset Ayako is feeling after spilling the art supplies. He has empathy for Ayako. He wants to do something to show his concern for her. Look at the picture. Think about what Kareem could do to show his concern. He could help Ayako pick them up. He could ask the teacher or somebody else for help if he can't help him by himself. He could say something kind. He could say, "It's okay, Ayako, I drop things all the time." Or, "It's okay, Ayako, do you need help picking those up?" Showing concern for somebody is called compassion. Compassion is empathy in action. Let's refer to the empathy poster. Compassion is empathy in action. When you have empathy for someone, ask yourself, what's a kind thing to say? How can I help? Have you ever shown compassion for someone? What did you say or do? Think of one time when you showed compassion for someone. How did it feel to be compassionate? Have you helped your parent clean up after dinner? Did you make somebody feel better after they lost a game? Did you pick up your pet after accidentally stepping on its paw? There are many ways to practice compassion. You all might remember Mr. Boris. He's my cat, and he's very sweet. Sometimes Boris can get in trouble. Maybe he plays a little too rough with his brother, or he gets into the food before dinner time. And sometimes I might accidentally step on Boris's tail when walking around in the dark. Or maybe I forget to feed Boris in time, and he eats a little later than usual. What are a few ways I could practice compassion? Maybe I could give Boris an extra treat at night to make him feel happier and loved. Make him feel better about the situation. Maybe I could show Boris one of his favorite toys and let him play with it for a little extra long. Maybe I could brush Boris's coat since he loves to be brushed. It makes him so happy. There are many ways to practice compassion. Sometimes Boris feels left out when I play with his brother Brucey. A nice way to practice compassion would to give Boris equal playtime or to include him as well. It feels nice to practice compassion because I love Boris and I want him to know that he is loved and that I love his friendship. And I want to make him happy. Boris can't necessarily thank me, but it's nice to thank somebody for showing you compassion when they do. So if you lose your favorite toy, or if you break a pencil, or if you trip in class and somebody offers help, be sure to thank them for their kindness. Let's listen to the empathy song. Give yourself a hug every time you hear the word compassion. I'm going to hug a Boris during it.
In every situation, your feelings mean so much to you, but you know that you're not alone. There's other folks with feelings too. So when you get together, try to understand how they might feel, because they might have their own ideas with feelings that are just as real. Oh, empathy means feeling what others feel. You know to do happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. Oh, empathy is feeling what others feel. You know to do happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. That's right. Empathy means trying to understand how another feels. See the clues on a person's face, then wonder what's their point of view. The next step is compassion. That's being kind and finding ways to help a friend. That's easy when you understand. Oh, empathy means feeling what others feel. You know to do happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. Oh, empathy is feeling what others feel. You know to do happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. Oh, empathy means feeling what others feel. You know to do happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. Oh, empathy is feeling what others feel. You know to do happy, sad, angry, glad. You notice it and you understand. That's right.
Today, you learned how noticing and understanding how someone is feeling can help you have empathy. When you have empathy for somebody, you can show your care and concern by saying or do something kind. For me, I would be giving Boris an extra treat or playing a little bit longer with him with his favorite toy. Showing care and concern is called showing compassion. Compassion is empathy in action. Remember those two words, compassion and empathy. How can showing compassion make school a better place, especially online school? It can make you excited to come to class. If something embarrassing happens, your classmates can practice compassion and remind you that it's okay. There are a lot of ways you can practice being compassionate.